What's up, everybody? Time for another Talking Comics with me, Riot Agenda. Today's going to be my Spider-Man Brand New Day special. I'm going to go over the movie and later in the video, and then I'm going to go over the comic books that inspired Spider-Man Brand New Day. It's a little bit of a misnomer because from the screenshot, I have my Spider-Man Brand New Day series. This is actually not a particular storyline. This is a publishing initiative. That is why there are tons of comic books with this Brand New Day heading. So it's actually not on that one, but Brand New Day, Brand New Day, Brand New Day, Brand New Day. So again, this is not an actual storyline. This is a publishing initiative that Marvel did. For the longest time, they actually published 3 Spider-Man comic books. And instead of continuing 3 separate titles, they decided to merge them all into one and publish Amazing Spider-Man 3 times a month. And that is actually what these particular comic books are. It's like 4 writers would do 3 issues with a different artist, and then they would move on to the next one. So it's like this is the initial 3 issues, and then we had the following 3 issues. I believe these ones are actually pretty cool. Well, not those ones. Where's these ones? Bob Gale actually wrote this particular arc of Spider-Man, and what's notable about him is he wrote the Back to the Future trilogy. So they actually got some cool writers to do this. But so nothing in the movie is actually going to be from these comic books. I read them a couple years, or reread them a couple years ago because this was from 2008 is when this started. I didn't recognize any of the storylines from the movie. If anything, I actually found more storylines from this particular series. The Other is what it's called. And here's a good example of what I was talking about is the 3 different comic books. So this is a storyline. This is actually a 12-part storyline that ran across all 3 different Spider-Man titles at the time. So parts 1, 4, 7, and 10 were all part of this series that had just started to do the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. And then they also had Marvel Knights Spider-Man, which was the other set of issues for the Other. I'll go into what the Other is in just a moment, and then the Amazing Spider-Man. Those Marvel Knight, Friendly Neighborhood, Marvel Knights, and then the actual Amazing Spider-Man, the main one from 523 to 528. And notice that was before. This one is 546, so 20 issues before. They had 3 different Spider-Man titles, and they did this 12-part series called The Other. And if anything, this storyline was used in the movie. It is not the main aspect of it. So, I don't know, it's slightly brief spoilers, but in this comic book series, this was done in reaction to the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, where he had the organic web shooters instead of the mechanical ones. And the comic books at the time wanted to make Spider-Man more like the movie version, because that's what the general population knows more. So they did this 12-part series throughout their 3 different titles where Spider-Man gets more. He gets the organic webbing. He has these spines. I think he can communicate with spiders. And fans didn't really like it. And 20 issues later, this Spider-Man Brand New Day publishing initiative basically erased all that happened. So I thought it was kind of funny that the movie used the Brand New Day heading, not really a storyline, and they used the storyline that was about 20 issues beforehand. And in the comic book version, the Brand New Day erases the other storyline. So I thought it was kind of interesting. It's almost backwards in the movie. They use Brand New Day first, and then they incorporate the other storyline into there. So I thought it was weird. Like I said, it's not huge spoilers. I think everyone knows that Spider-Man's powers are, I want to say, on the fritz, but are not acting normal. So that's an aspect of the movie. So so that was kind of the the storylines. Nothing really in the movie I saw was directly lifted from any storyline that I've read. I recognize anyways. The movie itself was decent. I liked it. I was not a fan of certain aspects of it. So here is where we're going to get into a little bit spoiler territory. So this is probably where, if you don't want any spoilers or plan on seeing the movie later, stop the video now, come back later, and we'll see if your thoughts line up with mine. So I thought the trailer did a lot of baiting and switching. So the trailer showed a lot of villains. It showed Scorpion. He's probably the villain that's in the most. The Hand shows up a bit. There's Boomerang, who's in one shot. There's Tombstone is in one shot. A very obscure Marvel character called Ramrod is one shot. And then it's all in the very opening montage of the movie. The opening montage is the 4 years between when everyone forgets Spider-Man is Peter Parker from No Way Home until the Brand New Day. That's kind of 4 years happen, and it shows just kind of quick shots of him fighting the villains. Like I said, it was usually him taking them out real quick, and then it would just move on. It was like I said, a montage of the 4 years. So really, a lot of the villains were not really in the movie. So that was not I definitely wanted to see more Scorpion, wanted to see more Tarantula, I like these obscure Marvel characters, so I wanted the villains in there more, and I really felt like they didn't want to do it. So here's the biggest spoiler, is everyone was wondering who Sadie Sink is. I think everyone knows that she is Jean Grey. She is actually the main villain of the movie, and that was probably what I didn't like. I didn't like another hero character being a villain for a Marvel movie. We had it with, not to the same extent, but in Captain America Brave New World, we had the Red Hulk was kind of the villain. I mean, Leader was doing it, but really the final fight was Hulk, and then, Sam Wilson talking Hulk down. Thunderbolt's very similar. Granted, Vanessa de Allegra Fontaine, or whatever her name is, Julie Louis-Dreyfus, was fantastic, was kind of the villain, but they made the Sentry was the big bad that they had to fight, and at the end they talk him down out of erasing a bunch of existence. Luckily Fantastic Four First Step switched that, but then Spider-Man Brand New Day kind of does the same thing. A heroic character is doing bad stuff, and essentially Spider-Man convinces her through talking to stop being a bad guy, essentially. The true villain of the movie is the Department of Damage Control, which anyone who watched Wonder Man knows they're definitely not the best guys in there. So, wasn't the biggest fan that Jean Grey was the bad guy. She's kind of redeemed at the end through Spider-Man talking her down. But the parallels between her story and Spider-Man's, where he has really kind of stopped being Peter Parker completely and just gone into the Spider-Man persona due to the death of Aunt May in No Way Home, and that was very similar to what Jean Grey was doing. She had lost her sister, so was going after the DODC to find, she didn't know she had passed away at that point, but was still alive. So it was losing her sister was causing her to, go crazy on everybody, and it was I liked it, but I didn't like the direction of what the characters. So the acting was excellent, the cinematography was excellent. One of the more badass fight scenes I've ever seen with Hulk versus Spider-Man and Punisher. Oh my god, that was awesome. There's definitely some great stuff in that movie. I'll never forget Hulk versus Spider-Man and Punisher. That was cool. Punisher did a great job in it. John Barenthal. There's actually a lot more Marvel characters, superhero characters in it. You had Spider-Man, you had Hulk, you had Punisher, you had Black Widow, Yelena. So it was cool to see the cameos. They didn't impact the whole story a lot. Spider-Man was still the main character, just had a bunch of the other characters with it. So, excuse me. I definitely recommend the movie. I liked it. I'm a big Spider-Man fan. I got another new Spider-Man shirt for this video. But I thought, again, I don't like the repeat of having a hero be the villain and then just being talked to by the hero to calm down. I still like the movie. I still recommend it. If anyone's seen, definitely go see it. I know it's very busy. I had to pre-order my tickets 4 days in advance, and I only got a Sunday showing, and we had to sit at the very side because almost every seat was filled out. So I know this movie is very popular. Let me know in the comments below if you've seen it, what you thought, if you kind of agree with my take on it. I want to give it a 7. The story reasons, I almost want to give it a 6, but really it's probably a 7 or an 8 because it is good. So we'll sit in the middle. So it's probably 8 if I didn't have the story problem, 6 with the story problem, so we'll go with 7. I mean, it probably could be an 8, so it's somewhere in there. I mean, so yeah, do you think the same? Did you like this one? Is this one of the better Spider-Mans? Is this one of the worst ones? Definitely let me know. I'm very curious what everyone's opinions are. And of course, make sure you like and subscribe. But until next time, I'm done with this conversation.